All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace, peace, love, and salutation to all you Akim that's pushing this truth and true sincerity. I'm the brother I now from the GMS Atlanta Church, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Now, yesterday's lesson was on more proof that you so-called Native American and Seminole Indians and so-called Hispanics and Mexicans are Israelites. And I did mention going into the Doctrine of Discovery. And this is a lesson that is affecting, still to this day, the tribe of Simeon, you so-called Dominicans. That word means Shemaiwan, affliction heard. Zabalawan, my dwelling, dwelling, goes into the Guatemalans and Panamanians on your father's side. Ephraim, Parium, which means I am fruitful. So-called Puerto Ricans are worldwide. Manasseh, Manashah, made to forget, so-called Cubans. Gad, so-called North American Indians. Raban, Seatt's son, so-called Seminole Indians. Gad goes into a troop. Now we know that troop that overcame Gad was the United States Cavalry, but Gad, namely the elect, is going to get their last lick back, on Esau Edom, like it says in Genesis 49. Naphtali, Naphthalia, the Argentinians, the Chileans, Lionel Messi is from the tribe of Naphtali. Who else? That's probably the only Argentinian person I know. Well, I had a homeboy. I was talking to my supervisor, and he was asking me my jobs, and I was like, "Yeah, I worked at a tortilla factory back in 2021." And I had befriended this guy named Daniel. He thought that he was Colombian, right? He thought he was from the tribe of Asher, but really, he's like, "Yeah, my dad, man, he from Argentina." I'm like, "Well, you're from the tribe of Naphtali then." Well, I ain't tell him that, but in my head. Ashar, Asher, which means happy, the people of Colombia to Uruguay, so-called Uruguayans. Now, it's a soccer player named Diego Forlan. You got, what's that other guy that plays with Messi now? Luis Suarez, Edison Cavani. These are world famous soccer players. They're from the tribe of Asher. And then we got Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, which means, Issachar, he is hired. And who's out here cutting grass? When you wake up every morning and you hear that grass being cut, that's more likely Issachar, man. Out here with them neon colored shirts, them long neon colored shirts cutting your grass. But anyways, this lesson pertains to the Northern Kingdom and how the devil Esau Edom, used his legislation, and his time to rule, which he's still ruling right now, but he has a short period of time, like it mentions in Revelation 12. He hasn't had a whole 1,000 years to rule. Even when you go back into some parts of the world, Jake was still ruling in the 1700s. So we're not just people that swung off the trees and the white man came to domesticate us. No. Before Esau really took over in a rebirth period, man, Jake was ruling these different parts of Spain, Portugal. Let me get a quick example. Now, since I'm speaking about soccer, this is just extra. How the spirit hit me. Bear with me 1 sec, excuse me. And now, like I said, I used to be big into soccer. I still am. I didn't really watch this whole Club World Cup thing because I thought it was whack. That's just my opinion. I like European club soccer in the form of Champions League. So this is a team in France, right? AC Ajaccio, Athletic Club Ajaccion, commonly referred to as AC Ajaccio, ACA, or simply Ajaccio, as a French professional football club in the city of Ajaccio on the island of Corsica. The club was founded in 1910 and plays in the League Two. Now, League One is where, a lot of Jakes into PSG, right? They're playing in, basically AC Ajaccio is playing in the G League, if I'm going to compare it to basketball. They're in the second tier league. That's what it says, the second tier of the French football league system. Now, as you can see, this is the logo. This is the logo. Dark-skinned man with a bandana on. Come on, man. You can't make this up. All right? Before Esau came in with his Renaissance period, okay, so-called Negroes, mostly the Southern Kingdom were ruling what you know as France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, so on and so forth. You can't make this up. That ain't no so-called white man. All right? Looks like a so-called Negro. Okay, dark skinned. You can look at the hair texture. That ain't no straight hair. With a bandana on. Okay, you can't make this up. But nonetheless, I'm gonna get into this lesson. That was a quick intro. Okay, that's AC Ajaccio, the League Two soccer team out of France. Okay, so I'm gonna get this precept. This is Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. All right. So woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. I'm going to get into this. The Doctrine of Discovery. This is an unrighteous decree from 1493. Now, what happened the previous year? This damn devil, Christopher Columbus, who you know is Christopher Columbus, and they tell you in school, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He was trying to find India, but somehow he made it, all right, to the New World. No, they knew what they were doing. Okay, and they had a movie. I think it was called 1492. Yeah, it was called 1492, and it was a clip where they brought Hebrew interpreters, man. So they knew the people that was over there in this so-called New World, Arsareth, another land, were the Hebrew Israelites. And going back to that lesson from yesterday, I mean, Esau was out there, all right. John Adair. He was so-called Irish. He could have been a Jake, John Adair was out there, and then you had these so-called JEWIS rabbis, all right, and they came to the conclusion. Let me read this. This going back to the lesson. If you haven't watched that previous lesson, this is from page 26 of the medieval empire of the Israelites. Okay. By Robert Gresham and Vladimir Melamed. It says the traveler said that the Indians spoke with him in Hebrew and called themselves the descendants of Reuben and Levi. Now Reuben represents you so-called Seminole Indians, and Levi you so-called Haitians. You Levites in the ancient days were the priests. But now to the order of Melchizedek, we're all considered a nation of kings and priests. Lord willing, we endure to the end. Here even Manasseh came to the conclusion. Now Manasseh was a rabbi. Even Manasseh came to the conclusion that the American Indians are the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. And Columbus, he knew that too. All these so-called explorers, which they were really murderers, knew that the 12 tribes were over there. And that goes back to Esau's hatred for you tribes. Now you're starting to figure out that the white man is the devil. All right, because he's throwing your family members in deportation centers. Now you're figuring out. Okay? Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord's name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai, came unto me, saying, this is talking to Ezekiel, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Let's look up Mount Seir. All right. You know, sometimes you gotta fact check with these lessons, man. Mount Seir in the Bible. All right. Let's just go to the search assist. Mount Seir is a biblical region located between the Dead Sea and the Gulf of Aqaba, primarily associated with the Edomites, descendants of Esau. So this is where Esau, Edom, all right, was from. All right, Mount Seir. Okay, Esau, Edom, the red man on the earth. All right, I'm looking at a cup in my room, and that's about the color of this man, Esau, Edom. Now, like we always say, for the sake of the lesson, you're gonna have Israelites that look like so-called white people. Well, we're talking about the wicked, because you can have people that got complexion like me or you that are really Edomites. Look at Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. All right, and you had his descendants, his so-called black descendants, was they're Edomites. You are who your father is. There's no such thing as half breeds out here. Okay, that's a lie that the white man put out here. There's a half breed. I'm half black. I'm half white. I'm half Chinese. Who the hell are you, man? All right, you are who your father is, according to Numbers 1 and 18. So when we prophesy against Mount Seir, which a lot of you Israelite camps are afraid to prophesy against, we're prophesying against Esau, Edom. Just like when the scriptures talk about Jerusalem, it's talking about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you 12 tribes, according to your father's side. Okay? So let's go back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 35 and 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. I say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, on Mount Seir I am against thee. So the Lord is against Esau, man. Esau have I loved. Excuse me, that's a slip of the tongue, man. Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. Salakia, slip of the tongue, not a slip of the heart. Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. Romans the 9th chapter, and in the Old Testament is Malachi the 1st chapter. All right, and even in Proverbs 16 and 4, the Lord has created the wicked for the day of evil. Who's the wicked? Go back to Malachi the 1st chapter, it's Esau. So the Most High hates Esau and loves Jacob. Okay, so Salakia for that botch. Okay, it says, thus saith the Lord power, behold, on Mount Seir I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. From the Edomites that's over here in America, to the Edomites that's over there in the state of Israel, to the Edomites that's over there in Russia, Edomites worldwide. All right, you're about to be taken down, because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It says, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. And the Lord is going to perform a miraculous work with this intercontinental ballistic missile fire that's soon to hit America. You thinking it's hot now? It's sure as hell hot, but it ain't, man. We want to be covered from that ultimate heat, those ICBMs, during the time that the Lord sends His only begotten Son, and World War III kicks off. But hey, Yahweh Shai, he ain't gonna lift a finger. Now you had IOIC did this little video, which I might get into. They had Yahweh Shai looking like he had gunshot wounds. He was bleeding and sweating. Look, Yahweh Shai ain't gonna lift a finger, man. That goes to show you that these Israelite camps don't read. These Israelite camps don't read 2nd Ezra the 13th chapter and Isaiah 47. Yahweh Shai ain't coming back down here to get bloodied up by no stinking Edomites, man. Okay? He already came down here, all right, and shed his blood. He gonna be on them chariots, man. Okay? So continue on, it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. And we're going to get into this doctrine of discovery, and that Esau has perpetual hatred towards you tribes, man. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. You reap what you sow. You're pushing blood out here, and blood's going to follow you and catch you slipping and put you into slavery, and you're going to build up the kingdom of heaven for the Israelites, and you're going to be exterminated according to Obadiah. Okay? Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it that passeth out, and him that returneth. All right. So Mount Seir, all right, Esau, Edom, namely here in America, all right, is about to get blown away to smithereens with this intercontinental ballistic missile fire. All right. So let's get to this. I don't want to make it too long. Salakia, just a little excited. The Doctrine of Discovery. This is what I was going to go into. So let's read this. The papal bull Inter Caetera, issued by Pope Alexander VI on May 4, 1493. This is after Columbus came. Okay, and he saw the Taino Indians. Okay. Now when you go into history, all right, he's the devil. All right, he's gonna round up some of the Taino Indians. What did Christopher Columbus say? He didn't put his sword down. Okay, these Edomites are from Spain, namely, because a lot of Jakes ruled Spain, but they got overtaken by these Edomites. Okay, so it says the document supported Spain's strategy to ensure its exclusive right to the lands discovered by Columbus the previous year. Who gave you that? All right, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. The Most High didn't. Well, technically, it was Esau to come up during the Renaissance period, of course. But this is the wiles of the devil, man. Who gives your funky red behind the right to say, oh, we can go to these lands where Columbus went and claim it as ours, when there was already people there, the Israelites? It established a demarcation line 100 leagues west of the Azores and Cape Verde Islands. Now the Cape Verde Islands are islands that are off the shore of Africa. All right. What's that world famous soccer player, Cristiano Ronaldo? He's from Cape Verde. He's not really from Portugal. He's from Cape Verde, which also, it was an island that the Portuguese conquered. Okay. Now, I don't know if I can see it on this map right here. Give me one sec. But usually Cape Verde is in this area right here. I don't really see it on this map. Let's look it up. You got a lot of Jakes that's from Cape Verde, especially. There's a lot of Jakes over there. All right, it's a very beautiful land, especially out there in Los Angeles. You got a lot of Cape Verdeans. All right, Cape Verde, or Cabo Verde, officially the Republic of Cabo Verde, is an island country and archipelago state of West Africa and the Central Atlantic Ocean, consisting of 10 volcanic islands with a combined land area of about 4,033 square kilometers. All right, so really it's off the coast of Senegal. All right. The island lies between 600 and 800 kilometers west of Cape Verde, the westernmost part of continental Africa. All right, this is where Cristiano Ronaldo, the world famous soccer player, is from. Okay, so let's go back. It established a demarcation line 100 leagues west of the Azores and Cape Verde Islands, and assigned Spain the exclusive right to acquire territorial possessions and to trade in all lands west of that line. So west of Cape Verde, that belongs to Spain, as they claim to. All others were forbidden to approach the lands west of the line without special license from the rulers of Spain. Now it says Pope Alexander VI, right? Now who's Pope Alexander VI? Pope Alexander VI was head of the Catholic Church and ruler of the Papal States from August 11, 1492 until his death in 1503. Born into the prominent Borgia family in Jativa in the Kingdom of Valencia under the crown of Aragon, he was known as Roderick de Borgia, and he is commonly referred to by the Italianized form of Rodrigo Borgia. Now, he's the father of Cesare Borgia, who you know as Jesus Christ. Okay, that's your guide for you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And you can perfectly see how this is adding up. Okay? This is the devil who allowed this madness to go on in the form of this Doctrine of Discovery. He's the father of Cesare Borgia, as we keep mentioning at camp. Okay? He was ordained deacon and made cardinal in 1456 after the election of his uncle Pope Calixtus III, and a year later he became vice chancellor of the Catholic Church. So this freak right here, Pope Alexander VI, basically ordained this Doctrine of Discovery, man. It says this effectively gave Spain a monopoly on the lands in the New World. Yeah, there's a lot of Spanish conquistadors, man, if you look it up. One of them, it just sticks in my mind as a child. I had to go look up Hernando Cortez. And then what happens? He took down you so-called Mexicans in the form of Montezuma. And when you go into the history, man, basically Esau was in the ears of Montezuma and other men. Basically, the so-called Aztecs, man, they fought each other, and then Esau took them down. When you look the history up, man. Now you so-called Mexicans is walking around Southern California with Cortez shoes on. The name of your slave master. Okay? And this is only a surface level lesson. Lord, when I can get into some more lessons on this concerning the northern tribe. But it says this effectively gave Spain a monopoly on the lands in the New World. Now we know, according to 2 Ezra 13, the children of Israel was there first before you stinking devils. Okay? You didn't come up with anything. Yeah, it was manifest destiny according to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, because our people were going off out there. To this day, they're still going off, man. They still can't see this man as a devil. It says the bull stated that any land not inhabited by Christians was available to be discovered, claimed, and exploited by Christian rulers. Well, how do you think they got down? Let's get this precept, man. How do you think they got down? You think they came in peace? We're Christians and we come in. This is a lot of history you Christians don't know about, man. A lot of you Christians don't even know about the Doctrine of Discovery. Look, man. Now we know the apostle said we're going to call the cops on you jokers. But all you want to do is get into the Jew and the Gentile, man. Alright, those Gentiles were Hebrew Israelites, man. When you go into First Maccabees, man. You don't even know about the Doctrine of Discovery, my ninja. Like, that's a damn shame. You want to... Vocab Malone don't even know about the Doctrine of Discovery, man. That is John 10 and 44, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me, I'm a little excited, man. Give me 1 second. I think that was the one I was looking for. But I could be wrong. Alright. Let's go to let's go back to John 8 and 44. Let me see. The thief that cometh to kill. Let me look it up. So like it, John 10 and 10. John 10 and 10. The thief cometh not before to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they may have it more abundantly. Yahushua is life, but Esau is death. Okay? The thief in the form of Esau, because he stole this land, cometh but for to steal the land and to kill. So what do you think happened, man? They got busy on the women. They brought that picture of Cesare Borgia. And if you didn't bow down to it, you would get burnt up. Women's wounds will get cut wide open. Okay? I'm going to go more into that in depth. This is just a surface level lesson. The bull stated that any land not inhabited by Christians were available to be discovered. And they're not the real Christians, man. The real Christians are Israelites according to Acts 11 and 26. And this is a bloodstained history of you fake Christians, man. It says was available to be discovered, claimed, and exploited by Christian rulers that declared that the Catholic faith and the Christian religion be exalted and be everywhere increased and spread, that the health of souls be cared for, and that barbarous nations be overthrown and brought to the faith of it. What does that mean? If you didn't believe in this so-called Christian faith, that's your ass. Okay, you are brought to the faith of self. You're gonna learn. They're gonna make you learn through various torture tactics, even if it came to death. This doctrine of discovery became the basis of all European claims in the Americas, as well as the foundation for the United States Western expansion. So this basically paved the way for the Indian Expulsion Act of the 1830s. Esau just be coming up with stuff. Oh yeah, we have the right to do this. Well, the Lord did give you the right to do it. Hey, but your time is coming up short, home slice. Okay, you're losing it right now. Here it is, you got MAGA in office, and he's turning his back on you. And as I keep doing on these lessons, man, let me get to this. Let me see. Man, I had it queued up. The coming New World Order. All right, you so-called white people, man, that God don't tread on me, and you want to take pictures in front of alligator Alcatraz, nigga, your ass is gonna be in there. Okay, your red ass gonna be in there with Pookie from Zone 4 out of Cleveland Avenue, and you gonna be looking stupid. Now let's get this. All right, because you Edomites are gonna fall into a pit as well. They ain't just gonna be Jake getting their ass beat. Now we're coming in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, but you're gonna get yours as well, Esau, before you go into slavery, man. Here for a sec. This is what's coming for you, everyday Edomites as well. Don't just think you're gonna get scot free. Okay, you got your little Christian church on the side of the road talking about come as you are. You're totally chopped and screwed the scriptures up, man. Okay, and the punishment for that is Revelation, the 22nd chapter, man. Adding and taking away is going to get you that thermonuclear destruction. And you can read this while I still got the screen up, man. This is what's coming, man. All right, so Esau, man, he got a short period of time, man. And he got to get this stuff underway. All right, but before that, all right, the Lord was building up a case on this devil with this doctrine of discovery. And now where was I? I was right here. In the United States Supreme Court in 1823, case Johnson versus McIntosh, Chief Justice John Marshall opinion in the unanimous decision held that the principle of discovery gave European nations an absolute right to the New World lands. In essence, American Indians had only a right of occupancy, which could be abolished. Yeah, that's why they got sent to these reservations, man. That's worse than the hood, man. You know. But guess who paved the way for it? This ugly-looking devil, Pope Alexander VI. But you Negroes, Hispanics, especially you Hispanics, man, you love the Pope. These popes been setting your ass up. Continuing on, it says, the bull, I'm almost finished. The bull Inter Caetera made headlines again throughout the 1990s and in 2000 when many Catholics petitioned Pope John Paul II to formally revoke it and recognize the human rights of indigenous non-Christian people. Too little too late. Okay, you still gonna get your punishment, Esau. Let's get this right here quick, man. All that, we're sorry. Nah, man. No. Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. God's name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You came over here in the Doctrine of Discovery, slaughtering Native American and so-called Latino, so-called Hispanic, so-called Mexicans in the name of Doctrine of Discovery. You reap what you sow. You're gonna pay for what you did. Okay. Now let's get this. Let me get a couple more. I'm gonna be done. All right. Let's go to Lamentations, the 4th chapter. Okay. It's for Esau, Edom. No matter you call yourself a Spaniard or you're Dutch or you're French. No, you're the devil. You're Esau, Edom, and you're the devil. Okay? You guys say that you're the last samurai. Okay? So on and so forth, man. You had these movies. You had what was that movie with what was that? The 10 Commandments. Trying to act like you Hamite. No, you're not. Okay? Lamentations 4 and verses 21. Straight to the point. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. This is talking about Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. He's not white, he's red. The cup shall also pass through unto thee. So that cup of slavery, punishments, just getting hell handed to you, is coming to you. Okay? You're not just going to be sitting here in your gated community, okay, up there in Canton, Georgia, and everything is going to be just lovely. No, you even you low level. That's what I'm talking to, man. I'm talking to the elites, and I'm talking to you low level Edomites, man. Get prepared to lose your position to a nigga, as you call us, the Hebrew Israelites, okay? Because you got to pay. Esau got to pay. You got to pay from the northern kingdom to the southern kingdom, man. It says, thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. We almost out of here, man. Okay, no matter, because namely these lessons are for the elect. These jakes out here don't want to get it. They're going to burn with their slave master, man. Okay, you Latinos are going to burn with your slave masters, and you blacks and Native Americans, Seminole Indians who don't want to get it, you're going to burn with your slave master as well. We're going to go one last final call with Massa. Okay, he will no more carry thee away captive. We're not going to be led captive to these lands any longer. This is the last go-around for us. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So Esau, it's time for Esau to be caught up. In the Lord and the prophets, this is why the Lord got this history out there still, man. The Lord got dirt, all right, upon you Edomites, man. He got a case building up, and we come to the highways and byways, and hey, we bring up that case as far as Esau. Now, I think I have one more precept. Here we go. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity. That's Esau, Edom. Woe to oppressors. Who's our oppressors? Esau, Edom. No matter if they call themselves French, Spaniard, Dutch, English, or your Edomites, man. Okay? Get used to your name, boy. Esau, Edom. What's your name, boy? Esau, Edom. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Now, Esau, verse 2, and they covet fields. Well, they covet the so-called New World Arsaruth through that Doctrine of Discovery and take them by violence. Well, how did Esau get it? It wasn't through love and Christianity. He slaughtered. Let me get this. Let me point the picture. He slaughtered you so-called Hispanics, so-called Mexicans, these so-called Seminole and Native American Indians, man. And they covet fields and take them by violence. It ain't about love. And take them away. See, a lot of you Latinos, you got Stockholm Syndrome too. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. They beat that nationality out of you Hispanics, man. So-called Mexicans. Okay? So, Lord willing, that was edifying. To the next time, I want to say shalom.